Hi, everybody. Pleasure to have you all here and look forward to today. Yeah, I'd really just echo what Dave said. Like, we get asked a lot at Stacky about the best data tools, dialer infrastructure, but when we dig deeper, it's always more about the actual connection rates that affect your team, help your team perform, and ultimately build more pipeline. We then looked at, like Dave said, all the tools and all the ones that people in the community asked for and people that come to us asked for. And I think six or seven of the top 10 were data options, and then the others were dialers. So we went to three of our top partners, ones that you guys have asked about, ones that we see regularly help outbound sales teams and SDR teams. And we've got a great lineup for you today. Feel free to drop in some questions as you're watching. We'll try our best to get to those sort of the last few minutes of each person's demo window. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Nice one. So yeah, as James said, just to re-emphasize, if you do have questions for any of the vendors who are demoing today, put it into the chat. We'll get those answered as best we can, or get the information to you as quickly as possible. So I think, should we get to the first one, James?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Right, and so let's start off with Mark Bedard at Upsell, and he's going to share with you all Upsell and how that can help with your SDR teams in EMEA. Mark, hello.
David, James, thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Let's crack right in. I think to echo exactly what you were talking about earlier, David, we are built to solve the connection rate issue, the data challenge that so many organizations are facing today. Myself, my co-founder, have been in the data industry for the past 20 years, helping grow organizations like ZoomInfo and Cognism to what they are today. But we really were disenfranchised with how they were solving some of the data challenges that teams are facing. So what we did is we built modern prospecting infrastructure and data enrichment infrastructure to be able to help solve the ongoing data challenges that everybody complains about day in and day out. It's tough. It's a big challenge. How do you solve it? You see my screen coming through, guys? Awesome.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to cruise through because this is a very short 15 minutes. So if anyone has any questions or anything like that, by all means, you guys will get my link and by all means, just book some time. We can chat through it. This is a current infrastructure. This is how it typically looks for many of you. You're going to have multiple data providers. You might have ZoomInfo, Lucia, Seamless, Cognism, you name it. And what you're going to do is adopt tons of different data providers to essentially address the coverage challenge, not having the enough phone numbers or not having the right data at your disposal to be able to reach those prospects that you're looking to get in contact with. You then export the record, it goes into CRM and then drops into an engagement layer. This is very standard. The problem with this is you're reliant on exporting one. You export via one provider, it means you're not exporting via the other solutions that you have access to. And it is clunky. You end up with lack of data coverage. When you really want all three data providers, you're only gaining access to one on your export flow. So you don't need more exporting infrastructure. You don't need more ways to export it, although each of the providers always tries to get you into their license. Really, what you need is you need the data. You need the phone numbers and email addresses that are going to be able to help you connect with those individuals, those prospects that you're looking for. And so what we did is we built prospecting infrastructure that organizations standardize on to be able to identify the right individuals that they're looking to prospect. We have a Chrome extension, lives on LinkedIn, LinkedIn Sales Nav, as well as CRM, export the records that you're looking to kick in to CRM and into an engagement layer. And then as it's going through, leveraging our multi-vendor enrichment application to be enriched with whatever data API keys you want to bring to the table. So having a mono data solution is really not the answer. Also, waterfall enrichment's a great thing, but it ends up giving you one phone number and one email address instead of multiple. The first one doesn't necessarily mean it's the right one. You're looking for multiple ways to be able to get in contact with that individual should one of those not be correct. So we run what's called parallel enrichment. And how this looks is essentially every time you export a record, and we'll show it right here. Let's say I'm exporting Matt O'Connell, prospecting Matt, and I want to export Matt specifically. I can export him. You'll see I can decide where that record's going, kicking the record into a particular sequence. If I want to drop them into a decision maker sequence, I can add a tag. If I'm going to come back to that record at some point, maybe I want to mention that, Matt's in Boston or in and around Boston, and I'm going to submit that record. That record's then going to get kicked into CRM, and it's going to simultaneously go into an engagement layer. In our case, we're going to use Outreach and HubSpot as examples here, but we integrate with pretty much everything out there, you name it. What happened is I exported Matt. You'll see he's going to be shot over into CRM. But en route, what happened is I also exported him in and he got enriched with multiple data providers. This is mock-up on data. We don't do live data on demos, but just to show you, this is what it could look like in your actual CRM and then in your engagement layer. You could have a phone number from upsell, a phone number from any other different provider that you have, and we're going to be equipping you with every single return that we get from those API calls. So again, grab the API infrastructure, plug it into Upsell's enrichment application, and every time you prospect a record, it's going to then be enriched with multiple data providers on every single export. All right. Hope everyone's clear on that. I'm not looking at the chat. So any questions thus far? Are we good? Cool. We'll just keep on cracking. That record, go ahead, James. You got something?
And say we've got one question in here from Diego, which says parallel versus waterfall enrichment. How does the parallel method affect lead cost?
Yeah, we're going to be pinging every provider simultaneously. So if you're concerned with like penny pinching on per record costs, waterfall enrichment would definitely be a better approach. The organizations we support buy large buckets of API credits across their sales organization. And they're doing parallel enrichment to be able to ensure that the record is fully enriched. Again, the time spent prospecting the right people is really the high cost here, not the 8 cents for a phone number. We are unlimited in terms of licenses. That means we can equip every single seller at the organization. Every single person at the company can have access to the upsell extension and the upsell application. That enables you to be able to prospect any individual that you're looking for. You can also update records in CRM specifically. If I didn't have, data on a particular record, for instance, and I wanted to update it directly in CRM, again, with one click, you can quickly enrich that record. It's going to make all those subsequent API calls via the enrichment application, and it's going to update that record. I can refresh, and all of Matt's information is filled in here. Name, title, phone numbers, emails, whatever it happens to be. So enrichment in CRM, enrichment out of CRM, prospecting, all the standard stuff that you guys would expect. And then obviously that record did get kicked over. You can see Matt O'Connell was added here. We had our tag Boston that's going to flow all the way through into the engagement layer specifically. We entered in Boston on the actual LinkedIn page, exported it all the way through. And then, Matt was added active in the decision maker sequence, which we plopped him into. Standard kind of exporting flow backed with multi-vendor enrichment to ensure that we have full data on every record that we're engaging with. And now when I actually go to call Matt, I'm going to have, multiple phone numbers and email addresses to be able to get in contact with him. It's a big piece of it. The other piece of it is maybe you're just tired of prospecting on LinkedIn in general, and you want a quicker, easier answer than trying to identify the right kinds of individuals to get in contact with. Let's do an example here where we actually open up the application. In this case, we are sourcing. We have an AI prospecting application where we are sourcing based on specific ICP profiles. And you can see we've got it all broken down here where we can define exactly which personas you're going after. This is very similar to what we would do in a sales nav search, Boolean logic. What kind of titles are we including? What are we excluding? We're going to be pulling back every single persona that we have here at the given organization. And then we're leveraging AI heavily to be able to score that ICP based on the kind of keywords that we're looking for. So in our case, you can see I look for sales development leaders, operations leaders, folks like that we would be selling to. And we can see that we have different keywords that are going to increase the score for those individuals. If I go into a target account, let's say AlphaSense, it's going to come back with the individuals specifically. I've got Katie and Matt. Some of these already favorited. We've already exported them. Let's say Salve is someone we want to export. However, we're going to be able to export that individual very quickly. Again, we can decide, is it going into a sequence? Are we putting it into a tag? The same kind of infrastructure that we would typically have from the Chrome extension. And you're going to see that we've got phone numbers, email addresses. Again, this is all mock data here, guys, but it gets the point across, as well as an AI summary of the individual specifically. So we know Salve is a senior development manager, lots of experience in pipeline generation and coaching. Definitely someone we would want to talk to and get in contact with. I'm going to
There's another
stop there.
question.
Yeah, good.
Sorry, Mark. They've got another question come through for you from
Great.
Mekana. Is there a US versus EMEA comparison on lead data quality that you can share and is it GDPR compliant? That's a big topic. We can't use several tools because InfoSec compliance teams block them.
Yeah, definitely. There's like the beauty of our solution is we're essentially data agnostic. We have our own data asset. You can see Upsell's got phone numbers and emails. That is US centric specifically. So our data asset necessarily is not going to be for European outreach, but we are data agnostic. You can grab any API key from any provider that your data privacy teams have vetted and given the green light on. You'd just be grabbing the API, plugging it into the Upsell infrastructure to be able to save on costs and ensure that every single record has multiple data sources paired into it. So yes, we have lots of information and lots of data and statistics on which providers are the best across different regions, industries, all that kind of stuff. I just suggest book some time in with me. We can spend some time on a call and chat through it all. Be happy to chat and share a bunch with you guys. Take any other questions?
Don't see any others come up yet, Mark. Any final thoughts from your side?
I think, most of the organizations that we support, just to, kind of summarize, is this a fit for you? Is this not a fit for you? We support typically bigger sales organizations that have large license costs that are spending a bunch on some of the incumbent solutions out there. They're looking to equip everyone, AEs, SDRs, AM, CSMs, managers, all the like. They really don't understand which data providers are netting the best result for them. That's something that we do in the back end. We have an entire admin dash and intelligence layer that I don't have time in a 15-minute demo day to show you. But again, if you're interested in taking a look at all that we can show, every single one of our customers is actually live baking off every data provider that they have plugged into the asset. So if you've got 3 different data providers plugged into the enrichment application, we're actually distilling exactly which data provider is netting you the highest results, the most correct, as well as the highest coverage across your different sequences and engagement steps. So deep data dive, way more data insight and coverage. You can look into every single record that your team's exporting. As SDR leaders, it's often a black box with respect to that. We don't really know what they're working on. With Upsell, you have full transparency into the prospecting process and know exactly where the team's spending their time.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mark.
My pleasure. And yeah, by all means, I'll ensure the follow up. We'll get a link out there or just message James and David. I'm sure they all have my link on hand.
Yeah. I've been sharing your link on the questions, but anybody can go book in time directly with Mark and his team, or feel free to talk to us at Stacky and we'll help you fit it into your stack as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
No, thank you, Mark. Right, James, back over to you.
Excellent. So that's the first one up. And we are going to go into our next demo of the day, a tool that a lot of you ask us about, and it is Nooks. So, Ryan, when you're ready, join the chat and take the floor.
I'm ready to go. Thank you, James. Thank you, David. Pleasure to be here, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So, name's Ryan, Enterprise AE over here at Nooks. And just want to set the stage here, understanding where we're at as a company at a high level, and then we'll dive into the fun stuff as a demo. At a high level, as a company, as you all probably know, Nooks's mission is to use AI to transform the job and 10x the sales rep's productivity, right? There's an art and there's a science to sales. Let's automate the science and let the human be the art of the sale. So you're very familiar with us as a dialer. We started there because we saw a bunch of opportunities to get reps into live conversations and have more at bats every day. As we brought this to market, though, and a lot of people are using it every day, more customers, we realized the bottleneck shifted actually. It's not just about how many calls can you make, right? It's more about how fast can I build the right list? Am I reaching out to the right people with the right message at the right time? Am I writing the right emails? And so now we've taken the dialer efficiency gains, those higher connect rates, those higher conversion rates, but spread that across the entire pipe generation process here. So you can think about Nooks as more than just a dialer, really an AI sales engagement platform that instead of having a bunch of different tools stitched together, reps can actually complete every outbound task in one place, researching an account, enriching contacts, adding them to sequence, calling them, emailing them, texting them, logging activity, getting AI powered guidance along the way that's going to help increase those conversion rates, while your managers are going to get visibility and control across these workflows instead of them being in disparate platforms. So for today, I know it's a quick 15 minutes. I'm going to walk you through a fast day in the life of what a typical rep would see when using Nooks. So you can see here, this is a demo account, reps targets account, for instance, right? Instead of having to go into Salesforce or go into HubSpot, you can bring all of your accounts right into Nooks. You're going to see a bunch of these relevant agentic AI signals that run across your accounts and identify reasons why a rep might want to reach out to this account. So for an example, Sentinel One here, you can see a new SDR manager was hired 2 months ago. Could be an angle to reach out. What's unique though is that it's not just synthesizing fields that are in your CRM, but it's synthesizing across all different data sources. So essentially any manual task that your reps are having to do today that we used to all have to do, you can now customize this, right? So it can be very particular to your outbound motion. A lot of you are already using AI and signals today. We can pull right from your CRM or create right here in Nooks. For an example, UKG, we have a bunch of customers that are using Nooks in the HR space. So we created a quick signal here to show a relevant case study. Now, this is an easy way for you to then filter across all of your accounts and dive deeper by understanding, again, those higher conversion rates on where you really want to focus your time. So let's dive in, right? Let's dive into one of these. I'm gonna go pull up Sentinel One here. I'm gonna go pull up my AI assistant. You can think of this as like ChatGPT, actually, or Claude, or Gemini, whatever you want. You have access to all of them built into one place, but it's connected to all of your go-to-market data. And so you can actually learn from your data. You can take action in here. Because we only have a few minutes, I'm going to quickly pull up what I've been asking this AI to show you some examples. So I actually came up here and asked, let's summarize a brief engagement history of this account. Did a few different things, right? It searched across HubSpot, Gong, Nooks calls, synthesized all that information, and created a really tight timeline and recap for me here. This is obviously just one example. There's another couple different ways that we could leverage this too. Finding top 3 prospects to engage with. Instead of having to go to LinkedIn, we have an agent go and find that information online, on LinkedIn, on your sales nav, on your CRM, wherever it might be living. And it's going to surface up the people that you think you should answer or should go and prospect to. What's really cool about this is that you can actually take action directly from the platform right here. So if I wanted to add these three people to a sequence, I can do that. If I wanted to give them a call, send them an email, send them an SMS, create a task, I can do all of that right in this specific place right here. It's also going to help you write your emails. So when we think about higher conversion rates, instead of having to spend so much time creating an email, you can actually come in here and have it create emails based on conversations that you might have had in the past. Now, me personally, I feel like these emails were a little short. So just like you would talk to ChatGPT, I said, hey, make this longer. Right? Now, by making it longer, there's an easier email for me to go send to Kelly. I can come in here and edit this email, and I have that same AI example right here embedded into one workflow. So when you do think about prospecting and connecting with people, you're gonna get these higher conversion rates because you're reaching out to the right people with the right message. The AI too, though, gets smarter over time. So it's really like this feedback loop and the interaction between the reps and AI that's gonna make this really powerful. Gonna start to pivot though over to something that I think you all are more used to is executing tasks, reps, SDRs, AEs, lots to do every single day, right? To go send emails, to go make calls. This is probably a typical example of what they're used to today, where they're going to come in here and have to, okay, I have 33 emails. I got 91 calls today. That seems like a daunting task. Well, with AI, you can come in here and with those agentic agents, we actually have pre-written emails based on conversations, based on case studies, based on really specific prompts you've given them to then write these really cool emails for then you to speed up, for you to kind of maybe tweak a little bit from, again, the human element before sending across. Now, of course, you can do this manually from an email perspective. You want to do that one at a time. Making 91 calls is not an easy thing to do, especially if we're going to do it manually where you're having to click the dial every single time. So that's where we're taking that and pairing it with what everyone I think knows what Nooks has been doing for the last couple of years, which is our dialer. So instead of having to make those 91 dials, you come over into your dialer and you're actually going to get the filter across all of your tasks, across sequences, across HubSpot lists, Salesforce lists. We're also going to create lists for you automatically. So everyone, there's no rhyme or reason why people pick up the phone, right? Don't just call them once and then forget about it. This is going to be a list that's going to be created for you without you having to think. So like our BDRs every Friday that didn't answer this week, I don't know how many people want to make a list on, 2, 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Here's a list that's already created for you based on the work that you have done previously this week. This view right here is also completely customizable. So when we think about a dialer, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to know, be prepared. I'm not going to be able to understand who I'm calling. We get rid of all that by being able to customize this view however you'd like. So you can see I have it grouped by account here, but I can group, sort, filter in any specific way. I've worked with teams where we have filtered out all other phone types where they're just calling mobile phones, helps with connect rates. We've also had it though where it's specifically mobile phones in a specific sequence, in a specific step of a sequence, in a specific time zone. So before you hit start calling, you know the type of person you're going to be talking to. That should help increase your conversion rates. But let's take back a step and go to the numbers that you are calling from. That is super, super important. Something I see religiously here at Nooks over the last 2 years is the number that you are calling from matters. And if you don't know if it's being marked as spam or not, is going to hurt your connect rate tremendously. And so with Nooks, you get actually up to 10 different numbers that are spam protected. This is unique to Nooks, and what we are doing essentially is monitoring all the carriers that might have marked this as spam. So if AT&T marks it as spam, but Verizon doesn't, you still want to know that. And so this will actually change, and it'll say spam in all red. All you got to do is go ahead and get rid of this number and add a new one. It's really easy. There's no bottleneck to adding new numbers here. I can search via area code. I can search via city. For the folks across the pond, there's a bunch of different numbers. Now, again, there's laws and regulations to get those numbers, so there is some stuff we could talk about there. But ultimately, it'd be not a bottleneck. Oh, yeah. Sorry, question?
Ryan, we got a question which is just on that topic. Can these be
Yeah.
European numbers as well as the US that are spam protected?
Great question. So for European numbers, you do need like in some countries business entities that will require us to get you a local number. In certain countries, you don't need that, but we're completely like GDPR compliant. You do just need there's like some laws and regulations if you can get that number or not, depending on where you are located.
And a little bit of a follow-up to that, can you also connect with the local numbers that they might already own? So upload those into Nooks, I assume.
So like port them in. You
Yeah.
can port your own like cell phone into here. These are going to be spam protected that are registered to your company and your business entity. So then that you can kind of filter through, but just your company would be getting those numbers. So that is a great question. I think that I can follow up with after too. Awesome. So numbers are super important. Power parallel dialing. If you're not familiar with this, power dialing is one at a time, where you're going to have a bunch of different ways where you can skip voicemail, skip dial trees, skip virtual assistants. We can group all of these in certain areas of this dial list here. So you can see here actually down at the bottom, I got all of my virtual assistants right here. So I know when I'm going to call these, I have to talk to a virtual assistant. There's also millions and millions and millions of calls going through Nooks every day. Probably a high likelihood that someone has called these numbers before. So using that information, we can actually have these hot numbers, these cold numbers. You can filter out for pickup likelihood. That's also going to help increase your connect rate. So you now know if you're going to call these 11, you probably want to maybe parallel dial because there's an unlikely chance that they might pick up. Still want to call them, but again, it's an easier way to like understand where you could affect your connect rate or not there. You're also going to have the parallel and adaptive. So this is a new feature that we recently just released, where essentially it's like built-in cruise control. You're cruising down the highway, you don't got to think about how fast you're going, right? So it's going to slow down and pick up based on the pickup likelihood of that phone number. Again, that actually we've seen early success of this, increasing your connect rate, but even a little bit, again, goes a long way. Same thing with navigating the dial trees I talked about here. When someone calls you back, this is actually one of my sneaky favorite features. Right now, someone calls you back, you got to answer it most likely in your legacy platform, or you're probably going to miss that call. With Nooks, you can actually get a text message at that same time that someone's calling you back, letting you know specifically who is calling you back, the title and company that they're calling from. On that note, let's say, I know I'm coming up on time. Uh, let's say I do make a call here. And is there another question? Or should I keep going?
Think you were going to get to it, so finish your train of thought, and I'll.
Perfect. So let's say I call Giselle here, right? And Giselle picks up. This is the type of view that I have when Giselle answers the phone. And what's really cool about this is that you can customize this view however you'd like, right? So you can drag and drop these boxes. You can actually resize them. The idea here is that all the information that you need to go crush this call is right here at your fingertips. You're not having to scramble around and open up a different tabs. And what's also really unique is these live battle cards. So whether the call is being recorded or not, we can actually surface up live battle cards based on what the prospect is saying. And so we can learn what your best reps are saying to certain pricing objections, to certain competitor intel, and then surface that up for the rest of the team to have at their fingertips, which has been a huge success in increasing that conversion rate over time as everybody, I mean, I think we can all agree, not everybody is great on the phones. And so let's take the people that are really good at the phones and bring those bottom people up to even that out there. Let's say Giselle picks up, and this is not Giselle, maybe it's Giselle's grandma. I don't know. It could be, a million data, right? Mark, thanks for the presentation there. We got a little bit of waterfall enrichment here. So you can hit waterfall, and then you'll go and have access to these different data providers to see if we can find a net new mobile number. We'll only see if we can find a net new one. If we do find a net new mobile number, we'll add it here, and you can go ahead and give them a call. I'll wrap this up by saying when we do have these calls, James, are you going to say something?
Yeah, on that point, one of the questions was related to like the waterfall enrichment there. So one of the questions was, do we need to insert databases of numbers since asking from an EU perspective, since a lot of the US databases aren't good enough for EU. You've just shown that waterfall. So do people need to provide their own Cognism licenses, etc., or is that included?
You can. You do need to with Zoom info. For the other ones, you would essentially also plug in your API key and you could use those credits right within here.
Perfect. And then there was another question, which, conscious of time here, so I'm just trying to get them in. Is there a delay when you connect with a parallel dialer? They
Great question.
experience up to 4 seconds sometimes.
Great question. So I hear that a lot. When you are power dialing, there is no delay. In every parallel dialer out there, there is that lag or bridge time. Nooks, I think, is best in class in this, and this is what we typically see a lot of times when companies come over to Nooks, is that our bridge time is zero point 0.3 to zero point 0.5 seconds. And so you really, yes, there is that small little lag, but it's so minuscule that no one really knows that it's happening. And if their person does say something in those zero point 0.3 to zero point 0.5 seconds, we will transcribe it for you. And so you can know what they might have said. But again, most of the time, that is not even coming up because of how fast that delay is. Great question, though.
Perfect.
I'll wrap this all up in the call library here. I think this is a really cool piece where you can come in here and ask about conversations, right? So it's coaching moments. What should my reps be doing? How should they dominate the conversation? I have an example where my former BDR, he took it upon himself to go into the call library and ask, what are filler words I'm saying on calls a lot? It went and analyzed all of his calls over the last year and understood that he was saying curious a bunch. Him and his manager came over into our AI role play and created a curious bot. So anytime Tyler, shout out Tyler, he's an AE now over here at Nooks, he said curious 3 times, it hung up on him in a really funny way. And so that's like that feedback loop. That's that AI working together. That is helping increase your conversion rates by practicing on certain areas that you might, need a little bit of help on and tying it all back into the rep's day-to-day life. I know I'm right up at time, so I'll pause for any for the questions.
I was going to say time for you've probably got about 30 seconds. One last question. Can you expand on this prospect is more likely to pick up area? What's the effect on connect rate?
Yeah, so pickup likelihood. Millions and millions of calls are being, gone through our platform every single day. There is a likelihood that someone else has called that prospect. And so if that prospect has picked up before, that would increase the chances of them picking up again. And so that would kind of be that hot signal, that hot number, the pickup likelihood there. Same thing on the reverse side. If it's a cold number, it'll be that cold kind of snowflake symbol if they have never picked up before.
Perfect. And that's time. Thanks very much, Ryan. Great job. Cramming it all
Appreciate
in
it,
there.
everybody.
Cheers. Right.
Thank you.
So, Dave, do you want to introduce our next guest?
Yeah, we have our final session today with Jeremy from Salesbot, soon to be called Bowtie. Jeremy, we will move the floor over to you, and thanks ever so much for coming and sharing what Bowtie does. And you're on mute, mate.
Can we hear me now?
Yes.
Good. James and Dave, thanks for having me, and just excited to chat with everyone in the community. So let's hop in. I'm Jeremy Schiff. I'm the CEO and founder of Salesbot, soon to be Bowtie. We are doing a big rebrand along with a big launch of a new product, which actually is only going to be publicly viewable for the first time today. So I am very excited to share that. So let's hop into it. So some just real quick background about me. I've been building AI technologies for about 20 years now. My first company was the AI photo editor of MySpace. My second company I sold to OpenTable. And then we were sort of interested in areas where we could really move the needle in driving much more efficiencies, especially at the top of the funnel for all you wonderful SDRs. So we've already seen some great talks today about sort of things later in the funnel, standard things like pulling the right phone number or summarizing something about a contact or something. But the reality is we're all actually selling to the wrong people right now because of limitations in the tools that we have today. So I'm sure that we've all received these sort of personalized emails. I get them all the time. But people don't really seem to be thinking through how personalization should be working. So like, hey, look, I noticed it's foggy today in London. Also saw that like your favorite sports team's Arsenal, you should go and buy my product, right? Stuff that just is sort of silly, trying to build rapport in a sort of off-putting way. People are sort of trying to do the right thing, which is they're like, hey, we have all this data about people. We should be able to leverage that in a smarter or more nuanced way. But it's really falling flat with a lot of people. So whether that's email or sort of how you're building rapport on your initial call, so on and so forth, it really can be frustrating to both you and the prospects. So ironically, we think people have been using AI in the wrong way. If you go and look at where AI has really moved the needle for companies in the last 20 years, it's been relevance. It's been Google. Google won the search wars because of relevance. Amazon's search recommendations are one of the main reasons they became the provider they are today. No one even searches in Netflix anymore, right? You just sort of get teed up your content, go and get there, so on and so forth. So how do we take this sort of relevance revolution that's happened in all of these other industries and bring them to sales? So the fundamental issue here is people have a gloriously detailed understanding of who they want to sell to. I often describe it as this sort of Mona Lisa portrait in their head of who they want to go and sell to. And then they're sort of tied to static filters to go and sort of find the people that they actually ultimately want to target. So let me walk through a couple of quick examples. I want to target the head of security at large manufacturing companies, but I only want to target heads of physical security, not IT security, even though they have the exact same job title. Or I want to target the heads of marketing for companies that are selling on Amazon right now. Or I want to target the heads finance leaders at companies that are SaaS companies that are high transaction volume but low ACV, because that's sort of the product that I'm going to be more effective. If you're trying to use any normal product today, you're limited to job titles and industries, and that's basically the only way that you can go and target. So we're burning huge amounts of time and energy just because we can't target the right people. And we've done some really deep dives with some of our existing customers, some of which do up to like 1 million dials a month. And we've really found that if you take any sort of hand-curated list, and then you go and qualify that list and say, hey, what percentage of those people are actually people that if I got on the phone and I could get a meeting with them and I could try and sell to them, what percentage of them would I actually want to talk to? And that number has never been higher than 40% for any handcrafted list we've ever seen. So if I could magically take away, let's simplify it, in half of the people on my list that I shouldn't be wasting my time calling, let alone burning credits on emails and phone numbers of people that I shouldn't be calling in the first place, you basically instantly double the productivity of your team. The math couldn't be simpler. So how do we actually go and execute on doing this thing? So before we do that, there's also going to be sort of a secondary problem that you're going to run into. So if I start cutting your list by 50, 60, 70%, suddenly you're going to be like, Jeremy, I don't have enough people to email. I don't have enough people to call. Who do I go and target? So you also have to use AI to solve the problem of expanding your search to go and find more nuanced ICPs that are exactly who you ultimately want to target. A side effect of this is this allows you to go and find people that not everyone's calling. So we have a database of 680 million people, which is substantially larger than like the Zoom Infos of the world, those sorts of companies. But this AI sort of takes things to a whole new level. We're often able to find 4 to 5 times more leads in a given market than what sort of people are able to do on their own. And so if I can find that many people, first of all, just having more people to call or email is always useful. But also, if you think about it as this sort of iceberg of people I can call, And the sort of the X's on this little picture are all of the people that everyone is calling because they all have the same title of VP of Sales at a mid-market IT company or something like that. There are all these other people that you could be calling that aren't getting bombarded with emails and phone calls, et cetera. And so if you are smarter about how you go and do that targeting, you can find all of these fresh leads that haven't been sort of bombarded, which will ultimately allow you to see much higher connect rates and booking rates. And even later in the call, now I'm not going and competing with 8 other competitors to try and sell my product because I found all of these people that aren't easy to find on other services. So how do we put this all together? So we actually use AI. We take in a prompt and we generate a search purely using AI based on the prompt. Then the AI is going to qualify that result. And this is going to happen using a number of different approaches. It's going to use our database of 680 million people. It's going to go out to the web and dynamically crawl information about every single lead. It's going to go and it can even do what are called aggregate queries against the search engine. So if I say, I need you to find companies that have more SDRs than AEs, or I want you to find people where there are lots of full stack AEs, something like that. We can actually interrogate the search engine to go and do that. So the AI is going to generate a search. It's going to then go out to the web and everywhere else and qualify those results. Then it's going to go and say, where am I making mistakes? We've all done this when we're sort of building our own list. Oh, these people aren't a good match for one reason or another. Then it'll go and improve that search and then go and run another search. And it'll do this loop many times in a row. And then ultimately you get a list that is very highly curated, all of the most relevant people, and still an incredibly large list of people that I can target. So this is something we're really excited. This has been really moving the needle for a number of our VIP customers today, but now it's something that we're making accessible to everyone. So what this can also give you is bringing this full circle, pun intended. We have, when we think about who we're targeting, today we're really often thinking about ICPA, ICPB, ICBC. I have all of these sort of different sort of organizations that I might want to sell to. But every persona actually has something different that they care about, right? Like the champion might care about sales effectiveness, the economic buyer might care about ROI, and the technical buyer might care about an integration or security or GDPR, like someone mentioned. So when you're going and selling, you actually have to sell. James, did you have a question?
Jeremy, I was just gonna pause you there because it's relevant to the last point. Was from Paul, it sounds like this would work well with industries where traditional data coverage is poor, like care homes. Very few people on LinkedIn or have very light digital footprint.
So this will work in sort of both cases. So for hard to find roles, absolutely. This is going to help sort of take care of that nuance in exactly the way that you're describing, and will really allow you to target. But even for sort of conventional searches that people are used to doing, it's amazing how hard it is to target. The most classic one we hear is actually SaaS. So if I want to sell to SaaS companies, how do I do that, right? I can't there's no industry filter for SaaS or something like that. So, but that's exactly right. So all of the reality is every search ends up becoming a more nuanced search once you can suddenly have this ability to express and target things the way that you want. But if you're struggling to go and target using the conventional platforms today, absolutely we should chat. It's something we should be very effective of. And we've seen all sorts of very innovative ones. So again, that we've seen customers that have literally been selling into Spain or selling into Latin America, but wanted to make sure that the people that they were speaking to spoke English for some reason. So they literally filtered all of the people that they spoke to based on whether or not the profile had a significant amount of English on it. So you can start getting really creative with the way that you can target in a way that's very different than the sort of limiting way that people have today. And it couldn't be simpler. Literally, it's just type in a prompt and you get your result. So now we get to jump to the fun part, was actually showing how this thing works. So when you log into Salesbot, which as James and Dave mentioned, we're going to be rebranding as Bowtie in the next few weeks, you literally just fill in two pieces of information. Who am I selling to, and what product or service am I selling? Now, this could be sort of many paragraphs long with a lot of nuance, or it could be really simple. Obviously, I'm doing a quick 15-minute demo, so I wanted to pick something where I didn't have to go through 3 pages of text for people to sort of grok what we're trying to do here. But say I'm trying to find sales leaders at B2B software companies, 50 to 500 employees that are hiring SDRs or AEs and likely have an outbound motion. Now, this sort of thing, hiring SDRs or AEs and likely to have an outbound motion, is in my head who I want to talk to. But I can't actually express that with any other tool today, right? I'm just going to find B2B leaders, probably at IT companies, because I can't target software companies, and 50 to 500 employees. And then I'm going to call a huge number of people, and I'm finally going to get someone on the phone, or I'm finally going to get a response from an email, and they're going to be the wrong person because that second half isn't something you can capture. Now it's that simple. So I click create lead with AI. And so the AI is going to then start iterating through and sort of doing the searches for you. So I'm not going to we have limited time here, so I'm going to skip through a bunch of the steps, but it's going to generate a search. It's going to then evaluate those results, go and make changes based on what it's seeing, so on and so forth. What does this ultimately do? So we found a list of 30,000 results that match this search, and we were able to get 58% of them to match. Don't worry, though, because when we go and export your list into your CRM or a CSV or into your dialer or whatever you like, we're going to automatically filter out all of the people that aren't relevant. And so now when I'm spending my phone credits or my email credits or what have you, I'm only spending it on the 58% that are actually the people I want to talk to. And when I'm calling or emailing, I'm only spending that time and energy on that 58%. And keep in mind, if you manually built this list, and I went and qualified it using this sort of similar AI technology, it would probably be 20 or 25%. And then, of course, it's automatically filled in job titles. And again, it's gone and expanded it out, all sorts of other titles for you that might be relevant for you. It's searching on industries you can control by SIC codes. So what's nice is it's run this very complicated search, but I still have complete control over all of the different search fields that I might want, including some of the fancier stuff, like I might want to not only search inside of my CRM or only find people that are new that aren't in my CRM already. I can search by industry. I can search by SIC code. I can search by revenue. I can search by company description, which can be a really powerful way to go and target people using Boolean search. And again, I don't have to worry about this stuff because the AI is going to automatically fill it all in for me based on what I want. Then, of course, I can just go and dive into any of the people. I can see all of the reasons why these sorts of people are a good match and to understand why they're not a good match. So notice look, they're an IT services company, not a B2B software company. This is a standard sort of thing where you would make a mistake. It knew to go and prune that out. And when you're matching, not only is it going and determining why the person is a good fit and the company is a good fit, it's going to go and predict your persona for you, which again, obviously you can configure, et cetera. But then I can go and use that persona information when I'm going to go and do my outbounding to go and work out what messaging I should be using that's going to be really compelling to that specific buyer. And of course, I can then go and log in and do all of the things that I would expect with other companies. I have tons of information on the company, their funding rounds, their revenue, so on and so forth. Any external profiles, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or anything. I can reveal their email or phone. Of course, that's doing a waterfall. Our waterfall is actually focused on relevancy, not just the cheapest cost, because it turns out that the cost per hour of the SDR's time still dramatically eclipses the cost per credit. So when we're doing our waterfall, we're actually starting with best provider and then moving down the list, not cheapest provider, and then going down the list. So oftentimes, just from phone efficacy alone, we've seen contact rates go up by 50% to 3x. Yes, James?
1 minute warning.
All good. There's a ton to show. So just very quickly, literally that simple, go and say, great, take 10,000 prospects. I want to export them. I want to apply the AI prompts. I want to reveal the emails and phone numbers. I select my fields, I hit export, and I'm good to go. So that's really Salesbot, soon to be Bowtie in a nutshell. We have a fun little QR code here if you want to sort of sign up for a meeting. We're offering just through this webinar exclusively a free assessment, so we can go and take your ICP, run it through it, qualify it, go and see what percentage of your list is a waste of time already, and then show you a way to go and benefit. But I really appreciate the time, and we've been working hard on this for quite a while on a very different part of the stack than I think anyone is really solving today. So excited to see if we can be helpful to you guys. Thanks for your time. James, are there any other questions, or Dave, or have we covered everything?
All covered. Yes. Jeremy,
Great.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the time, everyone.
No worries at all. So that then ends the demo day for today. Thank you so much to Upsell, Nooks, and Salesbot, soon to be Bowtie, for showing all of this today. If you're going to get a feedback message after this, please let us know in terms of this format. And if you want to see more of these demo days as well, and which are the kind of tools that you would like to see next. Any final words from you, James?
No, I just echo that. Thanks, guys, for presenting. Thanks for honouring the time slots, and thanks for sharing your questions, everybody. These are tools that we at Stacky see make real impacts on teams quite regularly. So feel free to reach out to us. We can help and advise if it is the right fit for you, or you can go direct to any of the guys you've seen present today.
And we're done. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of the day, and see you all soon. Bye now.
Bye.